This is episode, I think, 5 of the Eischen Radio Network, and joining me is, sadly, we didn't get Cody Clark again. Cody Clark is leaving for Mississippi in about 2 weeks, so we don't think we'll be able to get him back. But we do have another Waldorf alum who is living the dream in South Florida and knows a thing or two about having fun. You might remember she graduated in the class of, I think, 2013?
2014.
2014. So she was a Waldorf grad in 2014 and is now, I guess, for lack of a better term, is an independent model. Is that like the best way to describe it?
Freelance model / pyro Pilates instructor.
/ could probably do CrossFit if she wanted to, but she doesn't seem to be about that life. It's Claire Lawson. So where are you right now anyway?
I am chilling at my apartment in beautiful downtown West Palm Beach, Florida.
West Palm Beach, Florida, which is I don't really know my Florida geography. So you also played soccer here. So we're going to start with a little bit of soccer in the two big tournaments that are going on. Copa America, which wrapped up, and I told you right before we started.
On Sunday, yeah.
We wrapped up on Sunday, and Chile won the whole thing, and I told you the funny story about how my neighbor, who went to high school with my sister and graduated with her, studied abroad in Chile, and then she worked there, and now we got all the Facebook spam when they won. And then, of course, Messi announced that he's done with the national team, which is a little bit surprising. And
yeah.
Which is, I mean, I can understand why. Because he is sort of the LeBron James of Argentina, where it doesn't matter what he does. Everybody's like, well, he hasn't won anything. But he's...
Yeah.
I understand. He's made his money. He's happy in Barcelona. He wins all the titles. Like, does he really need...
But at the same time, he's only, 28? Like, he still has years to play. And, it's going to be so sad not seeing him play international anymore. But, I mean, he's going to do what he's going to do, and... That's what it is, so...
He's 29. He turned 29 a couple days ago.
Okay. So I'm not that far off.
Yeah, well, he was 28 at this time last week. But he's 29 years old. He's been with the national team for 10 years. He's happy. He's made his money. And he doesn't really need the national team. And the USA finished 4th, which I think is a great showing for us, because let's be real. Nobody really expected us to win that kind of thing, but I think fourth place is a good showing.
Yeah, America we need to step up our game for sure. But I think it's more of a coaching thing for the U.S. soccer than it is the actual players. Like we've got the potential, we've got the players. We could totally be better than we are, but I don't think the coaching mindset is. The coaches need to change.
Well, I don't know if it's a coaching.
In my opinion,
I don't know if it's a coaching thing. I mean, is the women's soccer that much better at coaching? I think that part of the reason why we're better is there's no Title IX in Turkey. So I just kind of look at it and think, well, look at basketball. I mean, is it coaching's fault that Greece and Italy and whatever can't beat us in the Olympics? No, it's because we have LeBron and Italy doesn't. So I understand. Okay, I get it. It's a coaching thing, but it's not all coaching. I mean, it has to. Some of the blame has to go with some of the players. The fact of the matter is, Argentina has Messi and we don't.
Yeah, but then Chile beat Messi and they don't have him. So. And that's all coaching. If you notice, towards the end of the game, Chile started pulling out their big players who are the ones that normally scored for them last year on PKs, but they pulled those players out and they put in other players. And those players are somewhat unfamiliar territory as far as taking PKs go and everything. And when it came down to it, Chile pulled it out without the two people who scored last year in their PKs. So, I don't know. You're right. It's partially the coaching, it's partially the players, but I think that the American team just needs a new mindset as far as play goes. And I think having a different coaching aspect, a different coaching mindset would help the players get there.
Well, wouldn't it be a little fatalistic to just look at it and think, well, what we have isn't working, so let's just blow it up and go back to square one? I think at least...
I didn't say blow it up and go back to square one, Evan. I just said there needs to be some changes made. I'm not saying throw everything out the window and start from scratch. Slow, small changes along the way lead to big changes later on down the road.
His contract is signed until 2018, so conceivably he'll be there until the next 2018 World Cup. And then let's transition to Euro. It has just been a bad week for England. I mean, they leave the European Union.
Oh, man, that game.
They leave the European Union, which I still don't understand what exactly that means. They lose to Iceland, and then their coach quits the team maybe 5 minutes later after they lose to Iceland. It's just been a bad week for England. I think that we all just need to give England a hug and tell them it's going to be okay.
I mean, in Iceland's defense, they played phenomenal. They did exactly what they came to do, and England started getting discouraged. They started slowing down a little bit. Now, I will say that probably the last 15 to 20 minutes of the game, they picked it up, and everything was super intense, and both teams were playing super good. But by that point, Iceland was already up 2-0, yeah, and so there was just not time to come back after that.
The real MVP are those announcers, because just looking at the names of the Iceland players, there's no.
Oh yeah, forget about it.
Those are the real MVPs. The people who had to get those names right. But when you look at soccer is becoming more popular in America, well, for a variety of reasons. Younger people seem to like it more. The international tournaments are on TV. They're on basic TV. People can watch it. We've heard for a long time in our lives that soccer is going to take over America. I mean, just thought, okay, yeah, whatever. But you played when you were younger. I really didn't play when I was growing up. So how would you describe the popularity of it from when you started, when you were, I'm guessing, 7, 8 years old, to where you are right now?
Actually, I didn't start playing soccer until I was 12. I was in 7th grade, and I played for my middle school team. But I've definitely, especially here in South Florida, seen soccer's always been pretty prevalent here in South Florida. But over the years, as far as the people who don't play, people just who watch the sport, it has definitely grown tremendously. People are more in tune with soccer now. People actually look forward to playing. I actually just joined a co-ed team, and we play once a week. And people are just really enjoying soccer now, and it's so awesome to see it grow, because I played, so obviously I love this sport. But it's just really cool because it's one of those sports that is international, and that's what we need, is things that everyone around the world can come together and love and just be a part of the whole experience together.
Well said, well said. So when we look at, I just like looking at it through the TV aspect. I sit down, I get 45 minutes of continuous action. It's not other sports where in basketball everybody uses all the timeouts and the last 2 minutes takes 15 minutes. There's very little commercial breaks. I sit down, I know it's going to last an hour and a half or longer. So it's an easy television viewing experience. Do you think that helped at all? Yeah,
definitely, because I don't enjoy watching basketball so much. I do like it, but it's not my favorite sport to watch. Football, I enjoy watching football, but after a while it just gets so annoying. It's every 3 minutes it's another commercial break, and the game is paused and stopped, and then it just drags on and on and on. But soccer, as you said, it's 45 minutes continuous play, and then you get that commercial break for halftime, and then it's again 45 minutes continuous play. So it's good because then people can actually just sit and watch the game, and it's as if they're actually there in real life.
Plus, you also you feel compelled to watch every minute of it. If you're watching basketball in the second or third quarter, it doesn't really mean that much. You can miss 5-6 minutes and you're not really going to miss anything, but there's a potential for soccer where if you walk away for 5 minutes, okay, it
A
was
goal can be
0-0.
scored like that.
It was 0-0 and now it's 1-0 and it's okay, what just happened? Like, I could walk away from other sports for a quarter and nothing's really going to matter because they're just going to keep going until the fourth quarter. You feel compelled to watch all 90 minutes or extra time or overtime or whatever else is going on. So that has to help. It creates the urgency of you have to sit down, you have to watch it, plus it's one game. I know that on aggregate the teams will play each other a couple times in a week, but it's not like the playoffs in other sports. It's
correct.
This, like, I know that nobody's going to beat LeBron James 4 times in 2 weeks, so I can miss a couple games because that's not going to happen. But in soccer, England has to beat Iceland or their season is over. You know, they don't
exactly.
they don't get to play them again 2 days later and then have a best 2 out of 3. So that
and if you have a bad day, sorry about it. That it is what it is.
You have a bad day and you lose, and if you haven't listened to it, listen to the Icelandic soccer announcer when they scored that second goal. It's going viral, and you can't understand a word of it because it's all in whatever language that they speak down there, but it's over the
Icelandic.
top. Yeah, it's Icelandic. It's over the top. It's amazing, and it's a lot of fun to listen to because it sounded like he was having the time of his life. And to segue into time of your life, you're having the time of your life right now after college. Most people struggle to find a job and they have to pay off huge debts, but you seem to be happy doing what you're doing freelance modeling. So how exactly did that start?
Well, I will say that right after college, it was not easy, and I was not enjoying my life as much as I am right now. It was a struggle to find work. For about a year and a half after college, I just recently started doing something that I love, which I work at a hot yoga studio, Bikram Yoga Studio, and I got certified in Pyro Pilates. So I now teach Pyro Pilates at the yoga studio. I've been doing that for about 2 months now. And then my modeling is just something that I do on the side. It's more of my artistic outlet that I really get to come together with local artists, photographers, makeup artists, hairstylists, and we get to just have fun and create different looks and different adventures and stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. But I got started doing it, the summer of 2014 when I moved back. I had a shitty job, but through that shitty job, I met a really awesome photographer, and we started working together periodically. Whenever he needed a model, he would call me and say, "Hey, are you free this day? I need you for this or whatever." And I said, "Yeah, I can do that." And then slowly but surely, I started having more confidence in myself, and I was like, you know what, I could totally do this. And so I made an account on a site called Model Mayhem, which it's kind of like a Facebook for models and photographers and other artists to go. You have your profile and everything, and photographers can search you. You can search for photographers, and you link up on there, and then the rest is history. So that's how it all started.
That's a good story on how that kind of stuff happens. You never know who you're going to run into in that crappy, seemingly dead-end job you get immediately out of college. So when you do stuff like that, and the stuff that you've put out there is fantastic, and of course, whenever you do that, you're going to get some people who are going to say some not so flattering, or I can't really find the right terms for it. How do you keep that out of your head when people say things that they shouldn't say? Because I can't really find a PG version of what I'm trying to say.
I mean, Honestly, when I very first started doing the modeling, I did have a few family members who expressed their concern for me and saying, like, are you sure you want to be putting this stuff out there? Like, this is going to make it hard for you to get a job. And every excuse that you could think of, it happened. I had people reporting my pictures and trying to get them taken down off of Facebook, but they met Facebook and Instagram standards, so that never happened. But honestly, all I did, I just stayed positive through everything, and I just stayed true to myself. Like, I know why I'm doing this, because I love doing modeling, and I try and always have, I like quotes. I love quotes, and I always try to correlate really positive quotes with all the pictures that I post on my social media. And doing that has really helped inspire other people, and I get, honestly, now nothing but positive feedback from people. Everyone is super duper supportive of everything that I do. I've actually had quite a few people ask me when I'm going to have prints available to sell, because people want my art up in their houses, and that to me is just like so encouraging to hear, because it's like I'm staying true to myself. I'm doing what I love, and in return, people are loving what I'm doing, and so it's really awesome. I don't have really any negativity anymore. I just keep everything positive. And if there ever is an instance where someone says something negative or something derogatory to one of my pictures, which has happened a couple of times, I just try to turn it around and flip it around and just speak positivity and love into whoever's life it is that is sending the negative vibes my way. I just block it out with positivity.
I remember from college, like, you wouldn't have a problem just laying the smackdown on somebody, and when you're not on the receiving end of it, it's a beautiful thing to watch. But I've had the misfortune on being on the short end of the stick a couple times. When you're receiving it, it's not funny. When you're watching somebody else doing it, it's a work of beauty. When you just give a little bit of a backhand to somebody. So how much are you allowed to talk about? How much you usually make for that kind of stuff? I'm guessing it's a comfortable living.
I mean, honestly, right now, the majority of the photo shoots that I do are just like collaborations with local artists. So I don't charge for my art collaborations. I'm just now starting to get into some more like paid gigs and everything. So right now, it's not something that I see myself just living off of the profits of my art. And but once I start selling my prints and getting my website up and running, then it will definitely be nice to have that little bit of extra money every month to put away for savings, to save up for trips that I want to take, to be able to travel to other states and work with photographers around the country, because I have been making a lot of connections with the photographers in California, a couple in New York, some in Arizona. So right now I'm building my reservoir of photographers, and within the next upcoming months I'm going to be doing some more traveling around the U.S. and doing shoots around the U.S. So,
have you had to turn anybody down? Like, either because you didn't want to work with them or something didn't feel right about them. Have you had to turn anybody down?
Yes. One photographer in particular. I did one shoot with him, and I was kind of feeling uneasy about doing it, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it anyways. But after the shoot, once I got the pictures back, I realized that was like not a good shoot. The photographer his skills were not up to par. He didn't really understand angles and just some basic things about photography. And so he asked me to do a shoot with him again, and I just had to politely decline his offer to shoot with him again, because it's really important in any kind of art that you do or anything that you really decide to do in your life, to set standards and stick with those standards. And if someone that wants to work with you doesn't meet those standards, then it is perfectly okay for you to politely decline and say, I would prefer to not work with you. And you don't have to give an explanation why. You don't have to tell them, because I don't like your work, I don't think it's that good. Just say, I just would prefer to not work with you. So it's all balance, and it takes time to learn how to speak to people without, like, hurting their feelings and stuff, but eventually it just all comes naturally.
Because I imagine it's a lot more complex than, all right, Claire, here's $200, just go stand over there. Like, I imagine it's much, much, much more complex in that respect, and something that I probably wouldn't know how to do. But there's a reason why that's out there, and it's just not for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, and each photographer has their own style. I have some photographers that I work with who are very open, and they're kind of just like, okay, this is a theme, this is what we're going to do, we'll collab, think of location, this and that, and then we'll get there and we'll set up, and they'll just say, okay, go, and I'm just free to move in whichever way I want. And then there's other photographers that I work with who have, like, a very clear vision of what they're looking for and what they want, and so they will actually, like, tell me, okay, arch your back more, put your hand here, do this, do that. And both styles I absolutely love. I feel like I learn more as a model and an artist when I work with a photographer who tells me exactly how he wants me to pose or how he wants me to do certain things, because it's stuff that I wouldn't naturally do on my own just thinking. So every photo shoot is different, and every photo shoot has learning experiences for both me and the photographers that I work with.
Is there anything in terms of subject matter or content that under any circumstances you will never do? Like, you could win the lottery and offer you all the money and you still wouldn't do it?
I mean, again, it really depends on the photographer. I just got asked to do, like, a fine art fetish photo shoot, and normally I say no to those only because those photo shoots is a very, very fine line between fine art and something that looks more like pornography. And so if you don't have a photographer who has years of experience in doing this and really understands and knows what he's doing, then it's going to lean more towards the pornographic type pictures, and that is something that I will never do personally. I would not do that. I'm not comfortable doing that kind of stuff. But this one photographer that I am talking with and considering possibly doing a shoot with him, his work is just so beautiful and so artistic. It's just beautiful, and I'd love to do it, but again, it's just, I don't know if I want to cross that bridge over to that side of artistic photography.
And if you do it, it's probably not gonna make it. It's gonna be one of those, I'm just keeping this for myself, and it's never gonna see the light of day. Like, I have a feeling that's
no, I wouldn't say that. I would say it honestly, it will depend on what the concept is that he wants to do, and then just how I like the images after I see them when the shoot is done. Because like I said, there's a very, very fine line, and he veers more towards the fine art, beautiful artistic side than the other side. So there is definitely a possibility, if I work with this photographer, that I will be showing that work on my social media accounts.
And so we'll transition into more of, I don't know, how closely are you following the 2016 election?
I stopped really paying attention a few months ago
I stopped paying
because
attention. I stopped paying attention too because it's just like, really, like, this is who I have to choose from, and like the only positive thing I can say about Hillary is, well, at least she's not the other guy. And if that's the most convincing thing that I have, the main selling point is at least it's not the other guy. I really don't feel compelled to care.
We forget that, like, we can still write in. I'm going to say this. I like Bernie, and I know that he is whatever officially, I guess, out, and it's Hillary and Trump. But we can still write in Bernie, and a lot of people don't realize that our generation has more. There's more of us than there is in the baby boomers. We outnumber the baby boomers. Like, I think it's like 2 or 3 times more of us than in the baby boomer generation. And so we have the power if we come together and really want change, we can make it happen. It's just a matter of people think that, oh, well, now we only have 2 candidates to choose from. No, that's not true. We can still write in people. There's a space for that, but we'll see what happens.
Well, most baby boomers are like 70 years old, and we're like, I'm 23, you're 24. So just we're younger by them. We're younger than they are by miles. I feel like I should care, but I don't really know who to pick from. So it's going to be an interesting thing to look at. So since you've admitted that you stopped paying attention a few months ago, and I really am more or less indifferent on the whole thing. So let's talk Florida and all the fun, creative things you can do at Florida. Also, beware of alligators at Disney World and other things of that nature. So you are in the West Palm Beach, Miami area, which is more or less the nightlife capital of the world. Whenever you see Miami, you think guys in suits going to clubs and driving fancy cars. How much of that is real and how much of that is Hollywood?
It's like 100% real. I have friends who are promoters for like big clubs down in Miami, and they're out every night dressed up, and especially now that it's summertime, a lot of people are traveling to Miami, and nightlife is good in the summertime. Nightlife is good all year round because we've got that good weather. So I would say Hollywood is pretty accurate on the nightlife scene in South Florida.
The only downside, of course, is hurricanes. I think that's the only thing that most people have to worry about.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hurricane season right now, officially. Summer started, and we're in hurricane season. But it's not like we get them super duper often. And let me see. I think the worst year that we ever had, I was in 5th or 6th grade, and it felt like we had like 1 hurricane a month during that time, and I think we were out of school for like an entire 2 or 3 weeks because of hurricane days. So, but they're really not anything to worry about. I mean, we see them far out. We are aware of them as they're building in strength. So as long as you stay alert to what is going on with the weather, I mean, you'll be totally fine.
Is it fair to say that it's more for the locals a minor inconvenience than a big deal? It's like, okay, yeah, I should probably take care of the hurricane.
Yeah, totally. Like, we have hurricane parties and stuff. Like, oh, there's going to be a hurricane tonight. All right, whose house are we all going to hang out with? So it's just, you get used to it. Just like anywhere that there are natural disasters that are recurrent, like, if you live there, you know how to deal with it. You know what to do. You know how to prepare for it. So it's really not a big deal.
On the inconvenience scale, does it rank above or below the Starbucks lady getting your order wrong?
I mean, I don't really think that's a big inconvenience. But So I would obviously say it's a little bit more inconvenient, especially when it comes to just like you miss work, because the wind is probably the biggest factor, because it can tear down electric lines, knock over trees, all that nonsense. And some hurricanes, there is a lot of damage that's done, and it takes a few days to get businesses and everything back up and running. Sometimes, depending on the category of the hurricane, it can take like a week, up to 2 weeks sometimes, for residents to get their power back. When I was younger, we went about 2 weeks without power. We were like running on a generator for 2 weeks until SPL could make it to our street and get the power back up and running. So the hurricane is not really the inconvenience. It's the aftermath of the hurricane that is the inconvenience.
The aftermath of the hurricane is a bit of an inconvenience. I can't imagine what would happen if a group of us that have no idea what to do. I think that I think we here in Iowa would be screwed if we found out that a hurricane could happen here. I think we'd be screwed. So we would need.
I'm pretty sure hurricanes would not happen in Iowa.
I know. It's just like on the odd chance.
On the odd chance that did happen, I don't think you guys would be screwed. You guys are used to tornado drills, so I mean, I think you guys would be okay. And you guys have I don't know if a bunker would be good, because if it's a hurricane, that would probably get flooded. But you guys have attics and everything, 2-story houses. See, in Florida, a lot of houses are 1-story houses. So when flooding happens, it's like you go onto your roof right away. So
yeah, no, I've played enough Fallout to know that I don't trust bunkers. So I think that I think that's a fair assessment. But in talking with you and the other people I have from Florida, and I look at it and think, okay, well, this could be a nice place to go, and then a handful of I guess they're football players. I think that's the best way I can describe it. I just can't talk, because I say I want to go to Miami. Like, okay, and then I tell them, oh no, that's sissy Miami. You need to go to real Miami. Like, why would I willingly go to Overtown? So I kind of look at it and think, is it really as bad as they say it is? It's like,
what do you mean by bad?
Well, I can't really find a way to phrase it, so I think we'll just skip that question. So things to do.
I mean, there are parts of Miami that you should not venture into if you don't know where you're going. Yeah. There are parts of Miami that are, I mean, just as there's parts of every major city that's or state that you don't know the area, if you're unfamiliar with the area, you shouldn't go there. That's why they're not touristy spots, because that's where real people live. So you just got to be careful.
Yeah. And the handful of Florida people said, oh, no, that's not real Florida. You need to go to... It's like, why would I willingly go to Liberty City? That sounds like a really stupid idea on my part. So I look at it and I think, okay. I'd like to go see Disney World. I think Miami would be kind of fun. I don't really know what else there is to do in Florida. So for someone like me who's never been there, okay, let's just say I get off the plane and I have 2 weeks to just do whatever it is there is for me to do. Well, what should I be doing?
I mean, obviously you should be hitting at the beach for sure. And again, it depends on where in Florida you're going. If you're going to Orlando, then freaking hit up Disney World, Universal Studios, all that good stuff. Key West is always beautiful to visit. They have, you can go out on, tour, the reefs out there and stuff, and they have, boats with, glass bottoms, so you can see, the fish, swimming underneath the boat and stuff. That's really cool. You can go snorkeling, take surf lessons. There's so much to do. But if you ever visit Florida, you most definitely need to visit the beach and pack a cooler, get an umbrella, chairs, the whole 9 yards, have your setup on the beach all good to go, and stay there for the day. The ocean is so relaxing and so healing. If you don't do anything else with your life. You need to at least visit the ocean one time.
And I imagine that the food there is amazing because of the Latin and the Cuban influence. Best places to go in terms of food?
I mean, as I continue to say, it depends on where you go.
Your area,
There's
your
a
area.
few
Let's just say I come to see
in my
you.
area. Let's see. Well, it depends on what you like. But in downtown West Palm, there is an awesome little sandwich shop called the Cheese Shop in City Place, the downtown area, and they have the most delicious sandwiches, paninis. They've got a salad, make-your-own salad bar, smoothies. Everything is fresh and made right in front of you. It's so good. We also have, there is a place that's called Field of Greens, and it's really good natural salads and wraps, different things like that. We've got Rocco's Tacos. I don't know if they have that up north, but they've got some dank tacos, especially on Taco Tuesdays. They've got good specials on margaritas and tacos. There's a lot of really good restaurants in downtown West Palm. Let's see. We've got some really phenomenal sushi places here as well for all the sushi lovers. And I'm sorry for all of you people who enjoy your Winn-Dixie sushi or whatever up there, but it is nothing in comparison to real sushi at a legitimate sushi restaurant. Fresh fish, nothing can beat it. So good.
I'm not brave enough to buy convenience store sushi. It would never happen. I'm not
Good.
brave. I'm not brave enough to do something like that. I think I would die. Plus, you've also got the SunFest Music Festival down there, which I'm sure is a big deal in terms of tourism. How often do you go to that kind of thing, or is that just not your?
So this year I was working like during SunFest, pretty much all of SunFest, so I didn't get to go. However, SunFest is literally 3 blocks east of my house, and SunFest is inconvenient for those who live in downtown West Palm because there's so much traffic during that weekend. It's like almost impossible to get home, especially at night when everyone is trying to leave. But, I mean, awesome music. They always have awesome lineups, great vendors. It's right on the water, right on the intercoastal, so it's a beautiful location. It's an awesome time. It's totally worth coming down just to come to SunFest.
I imagine the tickets are going to be fairly expensive because it's a large festival. There's about 300,000 people a year.
They have definitely gotten more expensive as the years go on. I remember it used to be like, I don't know, like $10-15 to get in for the day. Now it's like $25, $30, $40 just for one day to get in, which is kind of annoying for all of us who grew up going to SunFest. But they are bringing in bigger artists. It has been getting bigger itself, so it is what it is. You'll pay for what you want. So.
And if it's 3 blocks away from your house, you could just sit on the, I don't know what your house looks like. I'm guessing you have a deck or a patio of some kind. You could just sit out there and probably still see the whole thing. So you can.
Well, I live in an apartment complex, but I can open my front door and I can hear the music playing, or I have my secret ways of getting into SunFest since I'm a local. So I can always go and do that if I really want to get down there and mingle with the crowd and everything. But it's a nice location where I'm at.
It sounds like it. I found the Wikipedia page. It's like, you guys turned an abandoned Holiday Inn into an amphitheater? I think so.
We did?
Meyer Amphitheater?
Oh, I didn't know that was an abandoned Hollywood. It's been the Meyer Amphitheater for as long as I've lived here, for 16 years. So
I said they demolished it New Year's Eve '93.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, the Meyer Amphitheater is awesome. They always have things going on at the Meyer Amphitheater. On Sundays, they normally have like a huge concerts there. They have free concerts there a lot of the time. The Meyer Amphitheater, we do like Race for the Cure and different races that come through town. The main vendor setup is in the grass part of the Meyer Amphitheater, so it's a really cool place. Sometimes I go down and I work out down there. I'll like jog down there, do my workout in the grass, jog home. It's cool.
Is there a downside to being a local? I mean, there's a downside to everything.
No, not in Florida, not in West Palm. Not really a downside to being a local here, because when the summertime comes, that's when it's mainly just locals here. There's a few vacationers and tourists every now and then, but for the majority of the population, summertime in Florida is just too hot for them. So you being a local here and growing up down here, you just know all the secrets and all the cool places to go. As with being a local anywhere, you just know how to live.
How quickly can you spot out somebody who's a tourist?
Oh, so quickly. Like within
under
2 seconds of seeing them. Oh, yeah, easily. We used to have this joke when I was younger in high school, that if you ever saw somebody with a matching bikini, like the top and the bottom match, they were a tourist or they were really wealthy. So right away you can spot them out.
How quickly can... So what are the things you could look at them in 5 seconds, like, yep, they're not from here?
Normally it's just the expression on their face. They're like looking around, they look lost. And you're like, yep, they're not from here. Sometimes you do get that Hollywood tourist with the strap-on sandals, the Hawaiian button-up shirt, the khaki shorts, the sunscreen on their nose, the big hat, the cooler dragging behind them, trying to keep all their kids together and everything. Like, that is not made up. That is definitely real life sometimes. Let's see, what else? Just people just asking you, like, where should we go? What should we do? Right away, boom, all right, well, you're obviously not from here. So, little things.
How could you spend all that time packing and getting the tickets and not knowing what the first thing you're going to do when you get off the plane is?
Yeah, exactly.
That's criminal. That's criminal. So in terms of, not like, there's always something to do. So you've been here there are no upsides to being a local here, like zero. So as someone over there, you know that living here for 4 years, that if you want to do something at 3 a.m, yeah, have fun with that. But if you go to Palm Beach, it sounds like you have something to do at 3 a.m. You can go to a club. I think that, I don't know, do people go to the beach at 3 a.m?
Yeah, of course. Some people do, but not normally, and it depends on which beach you go to, because some beaches close down at sunrise or at sunset, and then other ones you can go to whenever you want. But normally at 3 a.m., at least in downtown West Palm, the clubs are just starting to close down, and everyone's heading to the strip club.
So it sounds like there's no shortage in options, so you aren't going to find somebody who's bored in South Florida.
Correct.
So things have been looking up for you over the last couple of years. So is there a chance you're going to come back anytime soon, or is it one of those, I did my 4 years and I'm happy here, and I'll just send my love from afar?
No, I would really like to come back and visit. I tried to get up there in April for the alumni soccer, but it just didn't work out. So I would like to either come back for homecoming this year or possibly, hopefully, fingers crossed, for the alumni game next year.
Yeah, because our homecoming, I think, is in late September, early October. Next year, I'm not 100% on the day for that. It's usually somewhere between the end of September, early October. So it's a little bit of ways out, so you could plan for it. Well, I think that about wraps it up on a good note. That you still love us all here. So I think that's
yes, of
that's
course,
a good way to end on. And I need to get myself to Florida. somehow, some way. I don't know how that's going to work, but yeah, we'll find a way for that. So thank you for your time, and this will be up on YouTube later on today for the people who want to listen to that. I'll remember to tag you in that, and we'll share our conversations about your independent modeling career, Florida, and all that fun, happy stuff that you do now. It sounds like you are having a blast when most people I know out of college are just kind of treading water for 2 to 3 years and they can't figure themselves out, myself included. So thank you from all of us who are struggling to find their footing, but you're having a lot of fun.
You're welcome. Just stay true to yourself and follow your heart and do what you love. The money will come eventually. Just do what you love.